At World Parts Direct, we offer a massive selection of new, factory original, GM, and Mopar parts at guaranteed low prices. Need something that isn't made anymore? We can help you find the right part for any brand. If we can't get it, nobody can. There's even a next-day delivery option on more than 100,000 items. Visit worldpartsdirect.com or call 972-864-9777.
This is episode 101. There you go. Oh, yeah. That's where we are now. 101 is when this one is coming out. That will put us right at the beginning of our third season.
Whoa.
So, started season 1 with a notorious B movie from the 80s. Got one from the 90s here.
Mm-hmm.
In season 2, we started with The Happening. So we continue our tradition of questionable choices to begin the season with. We just wrapped up talking about The Matrix and a little bit of The Highlander. So, hey, go with something a little less chaotic. And
I was about to say, this is a high note, right?
And we are here tonight with a guest. Our friend Phillip is once again back. Say hello, Phillip.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
Hey, good to have you back.
And do you have any message for the people this time?
Well, I'd like to shout out my day job. That's going to be World Parts Direct. Guaranteed lowest prices OEM parts for GM and Mopar with next day delivery on over 100,000 parts. And our pre-owned are going to cover pretty much any make and model that'll ride it on the road with identical warranties for our brand new parts.
Hey,
so if you're in the need of parts, check out worldparts.com.
There you go. And I will include a link in all of the description so you can click that and it'll take you where you need to go. Make it easy for you. Hopefully.
Yes.
Well, yeah. That is awesome. Yeah. And at the end of the episode, we will talk about it once again so you can, those of you that stick around for the very end of it. Tonight we're talking about Mindwarp. And this movie is kind of going to set a theme for us. So usually our themes were like movie series, or we did like art movies 1 month. Travis, remember that?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, you remember the art movies. Yeah, you do. Oh,
yeah.
That was when I took you on a journey.
It was a journey, and it was like very interesting. Like definitely a departure from what we normative behavior. So.
Yes. And we have more art movies to go. But this month, we thought we would do something a little different to start season 3. Let's focus on an actor, right? We've kind of talked about Keanu and Lawrence Fishburne recently with all the Matrix movies. We just got done talking about Casper Van Dien a few months back. So why not look at another actor who populated the wasteland more than once? And this man has been in the news recently, as he recently announced he's kind of taking a step back from pretty much everything and focusing on his family and his health because he was diagnosed with cancer. And so we're going to talk about Bruce Campbell all month long. And so each week we're going to look at a different Bruce Campbell movie. So we're going to start with Mindwarp, a movie that is, of all of his post-apocalyptic movies, maybe the least well-known.
Yeah, this one didn't really catch on my radar much. I think I may have seen it in video stores when I was younger.
That's the only place I ever saw it at as well. I remember seeing the VHS cover, and I think that's it ever.
Yep.
I never watched it until I watched it for this review. Phillip, had you ever even heard of this movie or seen it before?
No.
Yeah,
Short
definitely
answer,
one.
no.
Yeah, and it never came on HBO, that's for sure. So.
No. So it was produced by Fangoria magazine.
Now, wasn't this the first of Fangoria movies?
I think it was either the first or the second. They only made three movies ever.
Oh,
and
that's
they
right.
came out in, I believe it was 1990, 1991, and 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps it's 91, 92, and 93. I could have that wrong. I'm not sure. But this was either the first or the second. One of the two. Yeah, so they only ever produced 3 movies. Now, the Fangoria magazine is notoriously a very, very popular, or maybe infamously, or famously, whatever words you want to use, for being a notorious, yeah, for being a like popular magazine amongst horror movie aficionados and people who are really into the makeup culture behind a lot of those movies, and the directors and writers and interviews and stuff. I never subscribed to Fangoria.
No.
Never really purchased it, but I did read a lot of it for free at Hastings whenever I used to occupy that building, sometimes to their chagrin.
Yeah.
I think I might have been the reason they set like a reading limit, because sometimes I would just go there in college and just be like, well, this is a library, right? I can read here. They don't care. I tried to do the same thing at Barnes & Noble. Turns out they do care.
Oh.
Well, they will ask you to leave if you just sit down and read for too long.
Wait, really? Well, I guess that makes sense.
Try it sometime. Well,
yeah, right.
Next time you're in a Barnes & Noble and you have nothing to do, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna see how long I can go in there and I can read for. Well, I guess the first mission is find a Barnes & Noble, because that's going to take you a time. I don't know if they're still around. I know the high school down the street from me used to be a Barnes & Noble, which is a form of irony that doesn't have a name for itself yet. I don't and the school probably doesn't have a library, which would be even funnier.
Oh, wow.
But it more than likely doesn't. But yeah. So next time you see it at Barnes & Noble, try to see how long you can go in there and read for before they ask you to leave. Listeners, if you've ever tried, how long were you able to read in a store before they asked you to leave? Have any of you ever been asked to leave a store? Because I have.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, there was a time I got kicked out of IHOP for taking my shirt off. That was but I got $10 for it, so.
Hey, well,
that pays for the coffee and pancakes.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I used to. Hell yeah. Yeah, the city we grew up in Odessa, and Phillip also lived there for a little while. The IHOP across from the college became notorious for just people kind of ditching their drunk friends there.
Mm-hmm.
So many, a drunk or high or intoxicated friend has woken up at the IHOP with nothing, no why they got there, just there. I don't even know why we did that. I think it was just like, well, they'll take care of you. Like, it's cheaper than the ER, so hey, whatever.
And they got pancakes. So
they got pancakes. Like, look, if you need help, IHOP will call 911, right. And then it's on their bill. And if you don't need help, hey, we'll get you some pancakes. There you go.
Yep. Back when I was the crescendo or start of an amazing evening.
Yes, I will say that. Yeah, many evenings of mine in Odessa ended at the IHOP at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning.
I think coffee for $3 with a $3 tip is really hard to beat.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Travis?
I was gonna say I think this was before. I think y'all are a little younger than me. I think when I was 18, I used to hang out at IHOP like every night, and we'd be there. We would be there for the shift change, basically, like overnight. So if I wanted to, I could have got like food and coffee and all this stuff, and then not have to pay because the new, they would print everything out.
They
and be
didn't
like,
know.
They'd be like, hand this to the next waiter, and let them know. And you just didn't have to give it to them. But I just did water. I was,
You were sober Sally.
I was.
Yeah, I've been kicked out of. I've never been kicked out of an IHOP. I have been kicked out of a Gaddyland once in college when I was writing my thesis. I was craving pizza, and I said, I'm gonna take my fucking laptop to Mr. Gaddy's, and I'm gonna see how long I can abuse this buffet until they ask me to leave. I made it for at least 5 hours.
Wow.
At least.
Yeah. That's a manager changeover, and they went, no,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. They called on after a little while. They were like, okay, yeah, you're going to have to leave. And I was like, oh, shit. Damn it. Well, we had a good run, and I never stepped foot in that building ever again.
Yeah.
It was like, well, this is the only time. That's the last time I went to Mr. Gaddy's Pizza, another place that's probably out of business.
I wonder.
But, hey, they used to have a cheap buffet. It was like $7. And I was like, what are you going to do? Ask me to leave? Eventually. Yeah. Eventually. Yeah. That's the last place I remember being asked to leave out of. I'm sure there have been others in my life, but that's the last. That's the last. Oh, I don't know how we fell down this rabbit hole, but back to Mindwarp. Sometimes also called Brain Slasher, which is an interesting title. Yeah, I don't know why it was also called Brain Slasher sometimes, but sometimes it was called Brain Slasher. This was directed by a man who's not particularly known as a director. He's actually more known as a production manager for all kinds of stuff. Slumber Party Massacre 2, going way back there. I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. Driller Killer. Did you ever watch it, Travis? Last time we talked about it, you still hadn't seen it.
Oh, I still hadn't watched it. Well, me and horror, we don't.
That is true. You're not a big fan of horrors. Phillip, have you ever seen Slumber Party Massacre 2?
Most certainly not.
Okay, so it is a cheesy, stupid 80s slasher, but it is a beautiful, cheesy, stupid 80s slasher. It's got a rockabilly soundtrack, and it's a good time. I love Slumber Party Massacre too. Other movies that this Mr. Steve Barnett is probably more well known for are Sideways, as well as several of the Avatar movies. I think all of the Avatar movies, actually. So big budget shit there, as well as recently, like this year, working with Billie Eilish, who the kids tell me is popular. I have heard, only song of hers I know is the one from the True Detective show.
Oh, I was going to say the one from the Barbie movie is the one I know.
I've seen the Barbie movie, but I literally teach the Barbie movie. I use it as a Plato's allegory of the cave. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I get it.
Oh,
yeah,
already on topic.
There you go. Yeah, it's totally that. But I did not know her song was in that movie. I couldn't even tell you what song it was in that movie. I literally don't pay attention to the music in that movie. Apparently. I was going to say the soundtrack to True Detective is not like it didn't bother me, but I could not pick it out of a lineup. So I don't know anything about her music, but he works with her. So there you go. That's cool.
Yeah. You know, what's funny. More digressions. You brought up like Pluto's Cave. You know, the first time I ever heard of Pluto's Cave, do you remember that movie The Net back in the early 90s with Sandra Bullock? Did y'all ever see that one?
I'm gonna it's called before English teachers around the world are screaming at you. It's Plato. You said Pluto. I'm guessing you're thinking of
I didn't. Did I really say it?
Yeah.
No. It's just a Freudian slip.
Oh no.
I just assumed you were thinking of the Disney dog.
Can I blame it on I had a candy in my mouth?
No. It's fine. I can also completely edit it out.
I can't believe I said
What were you going to say about Plato's allegory at the cave?
Goddamn.
From the Republic.
In The Net, Sandra Bullock plays in that. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the program that kind of opens up this whole weird thing that they're doing is called Plato's Cave.
Yeah, it shows up a tremendous amount. It's funny you brought up The Net because the people that wrote The Net, they also wrote this movie. That's where we're going to next.
That makes sense. Yeah. It seems a little more refined of this.
Yeah, so if you watch the movie, the credited writer is Henry Dominic. That is an alias for a writing duo of John Brancato and Michael Ferris, who together are responsible for The Net, well as Catwoman from 2004, Terminator Salvation, Terminator 3. So some things that we will talk about later on. Surrogates. Yeah. As well, Surrogates is the Bruce Willis movie from 2009. Is based on a comic book. Yeah. This
movie kind of reminded me of that a little. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that I thought it was funny that you brought up the net, and Phillip kind of alluded to the allegory of the cave, because, like, shit, dude, I feel like they ripped themselves off a lot. I think that they've decided, like, we're just going to borrow from this thing that we kind of run through, because
they went from the cave to the well and kept going back.
Because god damn, you could, like, looking at their entire filmography, I'm like, yeah, you could apply it to Terminator 3, you could apply the allegory of the cave to Catwoman. I haven't seen Terminator Salvation in years, but fuck it, why not? I'm sure there's something you can apply it to there, like like, which is, the whole point of the thing is that it can be applied to a lot of different situations. But yeah. So beyond those movies, they also were responsible for one episode of Married with Children. There you go.
Hey.
And they would break up in 2012, it looks like. Yeah, 2012, 2015, they would kind of stop working together. And then since then, Michael Ferris is responsible for 6 episodes of the Rugrats reboot, which was news to me. I did not know that they rebooted Rugrats, but apparently they have brought it back. And he has written 6 episodes of that. He also did a lot of different writing work for 29 episodes of the original Rugrats run back in the day, including, like, Punch Up and script doctoring and all kinds of stuff for that series. So kind of working behind. Yeah, kind of working behind the scenes on the original Rugrats as well. So that is some classic millennial stuff there, which, I don't have any kids, but if I ever had a child, old Rugrats would be, like, one of the first things that I would be like, okay, I want to introduce you to this, because this is one of those things that I think that kids of any age would appreciate and like, because it's a fun time.
It is.
It's a wonderful time. It's a great time. They also wrote a couple episodes of The Simpsons. And they are apparently part of that circle of writers from Harvard that are responsible for the the Harvard Lampoon that Conan O'Brien was also a part of, which was, I think, that, like, circle of comedy writers that wrote a, like, comedy magazine that was pushed out at Harvard College, and several of the writers associated with that have gone on to do a lot of things the world of comedy and apparently sci-fi. I did not know these two gentlemen were associated with it, but they come at it from the sci-fi element. They also wrote some video games as well. The Dead Rising series, they're partially kind of responsible for parts of that. So I never really got past the beginning of the first Dead Rising, but I know a couple of our friends used to like it quite a bit. So there's the writing staff here. Not a bad little group of writers, but as I will point out when we get into the plot of this, there are parts of this movie that are plotting and boring as hell.
Yeah. Personally, I felt like the whole thing was a drawn-out version of old Outer Limits episodes, right? Like, minutes, this would be a perfect Outer Limits episode.
Yes. Truth be told, complete honesty, I watched this movie with the speed turned up.
Yeah, I did too. Yep, I got halfway in, and I was like, okay.
I turned the speed up because I was like, God damn, how long are we going to be in this fucking cave doing this bullshit? Like, this is ridiculous. We don't need to do this. Somewhere in this movie is an even better movie. Not that I hated this movie. This is a perfectly mid movie. Yeah. But somewhere in this perfectly mid movie is a much better movie. Just, I think, an editor or maybe a little bit more coverage shot, maybe, to give the editor something to edit together and speed up some things here.
I mean, at least 15 more pages of dialogue.
Yeah. Or a lot better acting for Judy, because goddamn, Judy was grating on me, dude. Oh god, I wrote some negative things about Judy. We'll see we'll get to that and see.
Her and her mom genes.
No, just the way her acting, I thought was atrocious. I thought she was terrible.
I was thinking this was another scenario where English wasn't a first language.
No, nothing like that. No, this is what, yeah. Well,
all right, criticism stands.
Yeah, we'll get to her in just a second. So let's get into the cast, starting with Bruce Campbell, who is obviously our theme of the month. And I actually own both of his autobiographies. He has two of them, which I have in the other room there. I should have grabbed them for this episode. That was a mistake of mine. But I will for the next episode, so we can dive into maybe some behind the scenes if he has any comments on this movie. This movie is important to the history of Bruce Campbell. So beyond just being a post-apocalyptic movie, this is the movie where he met his wife.
Oh.
Yeah, behind the scenes, he's met his wife on the set of this movie. She was another actress that had a minor role, and he approached her, according to his book, which I have part of it in front of me, the quote at least, that he approached her with his pickup line being he needed her to help him learn how to sew for a movie role. And apparently that's... Yeah. Which later on in this movie, whenever we get to the sex scene, Bruce Campbell is handsome as hell in this movie.
Yeah.
I wrote down, I don't know how you wouldn't fuck Bruce Campbell here. Like, I mean, seriously. Like, I mean, shit.
I guess with filming, he also would have been doing Hercules at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, around the same time. Yeah. This is peak
physique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is when he was in his best. Yeah. Get his shirt ripped off a lot. Travis, do you have a favorite Bruce Campbell movie or performance? Or
God, I mean,
outside of the post-apocalyptic world, because we got some stuff we're going to talk about that I don't think you've seen before of his.
Yeah, see, I will say the main things I definitely know him for. I mean, because he shows up in so many like odd
TV
places.
shows. Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, like I actually did watch Frisco County Jr. or Briscoe County Jr. Which one?
Yeah, that show was great.
I remember watching that, and then of course I watched. I saw him on other shows that he would come up on.
Yeah.
So he was just kind of sprinkled into my childhood, but obviously the movie for me is always Army of Darkness, because I will go back to that one. Even still, I'll go back to that one a lot. So.
Yeah, my introduction to him was definitely Hercules. I used to watch that a lot, seeing him on there, and I believe he popped up on Xena, maybe. I can't remember quite. I know there was a lot of crossover of the actors there. But he also showed up on, like you said, Briscoe County Jr., which used to show up like either right before or right after X-Files, depending on the time period. So I used to catch a lot of that one. And then growing up and getting into horror movies, and obviously you find out that like he is the guy of 80s horror movies, especially like Evil Dead 2, and then obviously Army of Darkness. But his extent goes even beyond that. Another really good horror movie that he has a minor role in is Intruder, which is a slasher movie about a group of people working overnight at a supermarket and a killer on the loose taking them out one by one. And that's one of those movies that, as a person who has worked overnights at supermarkets before in their life, I like that movie for a lot of reasons. You can tell whoever wrote it also has worked overnight at supermarkets before, because there's a lot of like little subtle jokes that only people who have done that job could probably appreciate. Done that a couple times in my life.
Yeah, I did night stalking at Tom Thumb when we were in college.
Yeah, I did. I did night stalking at Walmart for a year in college, and then 2 years at Target, 1 year at Sears. Yeah.
I think I only did night stalking for a few days at Walmart.
Yeah.
Then they put me in the auto parts, or not the auto parts, or like the oil change area as a greeter. I didn't know that was a thing. But that basically just meant I did everything that nobody else wanted to do. So, I
was gonna say, the longer you work night stalking, the more you learn that there's like three types of people who are doing that job. It's like young college kids who just like are night owls, and works for them. Chain smokers,
like the band,
just people who need to go smoke about every 25 minutes.
Oh yeah,
and people who are like just so anti-public that if they're around somebody, they might kill them. That seemed to be, in my experience, at least my years, those made up most of the people that work nights.
The third category definitely described my manager.
I had a lot of chain smokers in my group. There were a lot of people that were like, I'm taking my 15 minutes. And it was like, I feel like you say that every 15 minutes. You take a lot of smoke breaks. I don't smoke. Maybe I should. I just want the breaks. Right? losing out on the
candy cigarettes.
yeah, exactly. Phillip, do you have a favorite Bruce Campbell movie? Anything that stands out?
Not a movie. Of course, I would like to shout out Burn Notice, as he stole every scene he was ever in. And
I didn't even think about Burn Notice.
You're right. Oh man,
I watched Burn Notice. I was gonna say I never really got too into Burn Notice. It's one of those things where I have like several of the DVDs.
Oh.
It's always one that I'm like, I need to watch Burn Notice one of these days, and I just haven't really. I've watched parts of it, but never like a whole string of it back to back to back. I know that he's in it; and he's like really good in it.
There's
but,
one episode in there. I remember showing it to my daughter because I was just like, you got to see this one episode where they're doing that bank robbery, and he like does all these things to subvert it. I was like, you got to watch this.
I think I've seen that. That's what I was going to say. I've been shown a few episodes because there's a few like scenes and clips that I've seen and distinctly are like, oh, that's from Burn Notice, but I've never like sat down and just watched. I need to do that. It seems like probably pretty good to watch.
It's a clever show as long as you ignore the main character.
Yeah, I could see him being maybe a little bit much at times. Yeah, I remember the him constantly like narrating thing was a little bit like, but you know, anyone that's listened to the show knows how I feel about narration. It's one of my least favorite things in movies. Just don't talk to me. Just fucking show me something. I don't need you to narrate.
Yeah, stoicism is not being a wet blanket.
Yeah, we don't need all this. The seer in this movie, or as I'm going to call him, pervy fuck dad, is a good actor, Angus Scrimm, who would show up in a bunch of stuff. The Phantasm series, rather, being like a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Another horror movie, Chopping Mall. That is another great one. Add that to a Slumber Party Massacre too, and you'd have an amazing horror movie night right there. Some classic shit. Interestingly enough, he would actually in 1990, so not too long before this movie, he would write to the British Encyclopedia of Horror, who had recently described him as a mid-tier American horror icon. And he wrote to them and said if he did a few more decent horror movies, could he be moved up to a middling tier horror icon? And they never once responded. Oh. Outside of the world of horror, me and Travis are familiar with him because he also shows up in a movie that you and I have referenced many times, the Nick Cage classic Deadfall, or as we most often just say, Sam fucking Peckinpah. Deadfall is a horrible movie, first off, but it is a great horrible movie. Nick Cage is doing something.
He always picks. He is always making choices.
Have you seen Deadfall, Phillip?
I have not, but it is now. I'm literally pulling it up right now.
I'm gonna say I will just later on. I can text you just a clips of him go because he's only in like what, Travis, the first like half of the movie.
I think yeah,
and then Michael Sheen takes over the rest of the movie. But the first half of the movie, Nick Cage is in. It is a complete and utter Nick Cage mindfuck because I believe his cousin is directing it. And he's just like starting to get famous. So they're just like, Nick, do whatever you want, buddy. And boy, does he do whatever he wants. There are some amazing lines in that movie. I love.
Well, I feel like if you're hiring Nicolas Cage, you're admitting like whatever you want to do with the character, you're now going to write it.
It is a movie that I fell in love with because I watched the clips of it on YouTube, and then I just was like, all right, I got to find this movie. And now I own a couple copies of it.
Nice.
Because I was like, well, you know, what if the internet goes down? I need to watch this one day, right?
You have to have a backup.
Exactly. Got to have all kinds of backups. So yeah, Angus Scrimm shows up in Deadfall. Judy here, who is our main star, even though I did just now getting to her, is played by Marta Martin, who would really only ever be in like 20 movies. She apparently came to Los Angeles on a Greyhound bus with $500, and this was her first performance, and it shows.
Well, I looked her up and I saw that her main thing she did was about Days of Our Lives.
Yes, she did a bunch of TV shows. She would show up like in like one episode of NYPD Blue, one episode of Jag, one episode of Ned and Stacy, one episode of CSI Fort Lauderdale or whatever. Like just whatever. She does a bunch of those things. Now, I will say I think she got better as she moved on, but yeah, this was her first like real big thing, honestly. And yeah, it's not her best work. She's a little rough at the beginning. She does get better as the movie goes on. She is beautiful, I will say. You can definitely see why they cast her in the atypical damsel in distress role. But as an actual like performance, I was a little unmoved.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought it was a foreign language barrier.
Yeah. Nope, no foreign language here. Just she's from Ohio, so yeah. She does have 3 kids and is a stay-at-home mom. So good for her.
It's good that she was able to escape Ohio. So
yeah.
Oh, she's going to be a sci-fi legend. She was in Star Trek. I missed it.
Sorry to anyone living in Ohio. I'm sure your state's beautiful.
To live in Ohio.
I'm sure your state's beautiful.
Oh, I have worked with people from Ohio because I do work from home. So
yeah,
I work with people from all over. I've heard things about Ohio where they're like, "Yeah, it sucks," So
fuck those people from Ohio.
Well, no, I mean the people are probably great. It's getting out of Ohio is good. Like it's Ohio itself, I think.
I see. I gotcha. So the last 2 actresses that are the main members of the cast are both people who didn't really show up in a whole lot ever in their career. Cornelia is played by Elizabeth Kent, who would be in 2 episodes of Murder, She Wrote, and 4 things other than that, and that's it. And Judy's mom, who is, I believe, credited as just mom, is played by Mary Becker, and she would only ever be in 2 other things beyond this as well, which were all part of the Fangoria series as well. So she was, I think, kind of working amongst the Fangoria Films production company, someone that they hired and just put in all their first 3 movies that they did, and then the studio folded because it didn't make a whole lot of money, it turns out.
Yeah.
So there's the cast. Let's get into the background. Kind of a light background here today, not a whole lot. This movie did get nominated for an award in 1993. It would be nominated for the best film at the International Fantasy Film Awards. And it was a tough fucking year that year. I looked at the nominees and oh boy, there are a lot of good nominees. The one that ended up winning was Peter Jackson with Dead Alive, which is a really good movie. So yeah, don't feel too bad for that one. But it is cool that this movie did get nominated, so that's nice.
Yeah,
we talked about Bruce Campbell meeting his wife in while making the movie. Movie was only shot in 22 days, and they are reusing sets from the Roger Corman produced movie Dead Space from 1991, which has no at all connection to the video game series called Dead Space, which would come out many years later, actually. Yeah, no connection, even though they do share a similar title and a kind of overall premise that is not totally dissimilar. But hey, other connections is with a movie series we just got done talking about, the Wachowski sisters. Mm-hmm. They, interestingly enough, they included an allusion to this movie in the original Matrix with the jackputs being in the back of the neck.
Okay, that explains. Yeah, I was questioning that.
Yeah, at some point the Wachowskis, I'm guessing, because we talked about it when we were talking about the Matrix, they started writing the Matrix in and around 93, 94. This comes out in 92, so I'm guessing they saw this. They probably, looking at AI, virtual reality inspirations, picked up Mindwarp on VHS. Hey, that's a cool idea. Hey, we'll borrow that. So yeah, I'm guessing that would be the influence there. Just kind of a subtle little nod, tip of the hat, nothing too crazy.
I am glad that they went with a bigger data port.
Yes. I was going to say, yeah. That's tough. That USB port they have in the back there, that's going to break a lot of things right there.
They didn't go with the RJ11, so.
Sorry, I'm not up to date with my adapter terminology.
That's a phone wire. Like a telephone wire.
Telephone wire. He's going to say, I can't remember. I know I'd heard those words before, but I did not know exactly what that looked like in my mind. There you go.
Absolutely tiny. No data getting across there.
No.
This movie, in and of itself, kind of steals a little bit from The Wizard of Oz, in its kind of general premise, but also from a lot of other sources, just general sci-fi kind of things around the ether in the zeitgeist as well. And there's actually a think piece, like a real cultural think piece put out by Split Tooth Media in 2003 or 2023 rather, that explores this film's connection to the censorship culture of the 80s and 90s and how this movie kind of tries to go against that by being maybe a little too gory at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this movie is one of the goriest movies ever made, apparently, according to, if you go based off of the amount of blood in the movie, I can't imagine this movie is not at least on the top 10 list, because this movie has a literal rivers of blood at different times. Which is always a fun time. So the movie cost $1 million, was filmed in and around Michigan and Wisconsin. So right there where Bruce Campbell was residing. So perfect location for him to pick up an easy paycheck while he was in the middle of doing other work, right? And 22 days, not too bad. Can't complain for 22 days of work. This movie would come out to, most places on August 12th, 1992, which here's what was happening in the world. There was a no-hitter in the world of Major League Baseball.
Ooh.
The Boston Red Sox got a no-hitter and somehow still lost the game.
Yep.
Oh my god!
There's the 90s Red Sox for you. Had to have been on walks. Or like hit by pitch. That's the only way. You hit him
Then
in the
they
back,
still
they
home.
take a base.
Wow.
Hit him in the back, they take a base. Hit him in the back, they take a base, and then they score, I guess.
Grand slam hit in the back.
Yeah. I used to do that sometimes, like when I used to get bored and get, a little drunk and a little other things during college and other times. And play like an old 90s baseball game on the Super Nintendo and just decide, I'm just hitting everybody. Roger Clemens is off the roids tonight. He's hitting everybody in the head.
Oh
I had
man!
to be outside.
Now with modern baseball games, I wonder, because they have realistic injuries, I wonder if you could just go and just aim for the head with every pitch and see how long until you actually took someone's career out.
Oh man, you just unlocked a memory. Also, whenever I was in Little League back in 5th grade,
Yeah.
I took a pitch to the head. It was
Oh damn.
oh yeah, it rattled me.
I played Little League and took a pitch to the ribs and it hurt.
Oh.
That sucked.
For reference, I was a competitive fighter in Taekwondo and literally won a national champion.
Whoa!
I got injured more playing baseball than I ever did in Taekwondo.
It's a rough sport. They'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of getting fucked up, this movie came out 16 days before the LA riots.
Ooh.
So Rodney King was the verdict was about to be unleashed. And yeah, there's about to be some shit going down in LA. And somewhere the guy from Sublime would be writing a song that would be sung by stoners everywhere. Speaking of music, here is the music that was popular at the time. The song High by The Cure. That's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the great band. They are.
Oh, yeah.
A song that I'm not really familiar with, but the number one song was Save the Best for Last by Vanessa Williams.
Might know that one.
That's a piece of 90s R&B that escapes me.
Nope. I have no
I'll
reference.
have to listen to that one later and see if something comes back to me. Now, the number one rock song at the time, I do remember, and rock is questionable with this song, but it was To Be With You by Mr. Big.
Yeah, that's oof.
That's a little soft rock ditty.
I was going to say we're giving a lot of leeway with the word rock there.
Yeah.
It had an electric guitar? Is that the qualifier?
Actually, I don't even think it does.
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
trying to remember.
I think it's just because it's just Strum, and then the other guy is hitting his leg to make the drum sound. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, it's a very cheesy 80s power ballad by a not very good heavy metal in air quotes band, Mr. Big. They were
Is
awful.
that hair metal?
It was at the death of hair metal. Yeah, this is why hair metal died. It wasn't all Nirvana.
It was anthem. We're done.
Yeah. It was partially this as well, besides Nirvana.
Oh, I think so.
Oh, gosh. Shots fired.
Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah, it needed to die. Well,
yeah.
That is it for the background and for the Travis trivia. The last thing we'll talk about is the other two movies that Fangoria magazine produced, because why not?
Yeah.
I wrote them down here. One of them was Severed Ties, which came out in 1991. Children of the Night, which came out in 1992. All of these are kind of low-budget horror movies. And then, obviously, Mindwarp would round out the bunch, coming out at the end of 1992, going into 1993 there. So that would be it for Fangoria magazine. They never produced another film ever again. that was it. They tried and said, fuck that. But at least they got one memorable one out of there. The other two I've never seen before, so I can't speak to their quality, but Severed Ties and Children of Night, hopefully they're streaming somewhere.
Yeah.
Or we can sail the seven seas of the internet and find a copy somewhere. Because I'm curious to see what they are, because they have some of the same actors in them. So there's obviously like a crew that's working on all these movies together.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of interested to see like if the quality of them is all kind of the same throughout. Because this one, like I said, I didn't hate every part of this movie. There are some parts of it I thought were kind of lame. But I didn't hate every part of it. So we're going to take a little break and come back and talk about the plot of Mindwarp. See you guys in a second.
I'm Orson Welles. I direct films and act in them. What we're always trying for, of course, is perfection. In a film, that's only a hope. But with
Final Picture Show podcast.
you can rely on it. Perfection.
Bubba Hotep, or you want to do Alien Apocalypse next?
Oof.
Then I'll go get a drink.
Yeah, I'll get a decide here. I might just flip a coin.
Flip a coin. Do the Pokemon style.
Oh, yeah. But, of course, I don't have a coin in here. So...
Here, I got a coin. Hold on.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Actually, no, I don't have a coin, but I have an autographed card for a backup point guard for the G League Denver Nuggets.
That's like a coin.
That's like a coin. So we're going to say Mr. whoever the hell this is, Morris. I can't read his name. And the other side is his stats. So we'll say the stats is tails. That would be Alien Apocalypse. Here we go. Ah, shit. Hit the fan.
God.
I forgot there was a ceiling fan. That may have slipped my mind. Okay, so it landed head side up. So we'll do Bubba Hotep.
All right.
And then we've already talked about the Escape from LA, which he was also in.
That's
We
right.
already talked about that one too. So that was the one that had we known, we would have saved that one. But hey, we did that one. So we will do Bubba Hotep next week.
I would say his part in Escape from LA is kind of...
Oh, he's in it for like, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, he's
barely in it, unfortunately.
But he's really good in it.
He's great in it. I wish he was more now. I believe that we said that in the podcast. Just we want more of Bruce Campbell.
Right.
Now we're getting it. There we go.
At World Parts Direct, we offer a massive selection of new, factory original, GM, and Mopar parts at guaranteed low prices. Need something that isn't made anymore? We can help you find the right part for any brand. If we can't get it, nobody can. There's even a next-day delivery option on more than 100,000 items. Visit worldpartsdirect.com or call 972-864-9777.
Yes.
How does a Muppet get
There are
seven
seven different rollerblades after that. We've only watched one of them. There's still 6 more to go. Or 7 more to go.
Oh, God.
That includes the spinoff. So I went ahead and threw that one in there as well.
Travis, he's going to torture you.
Honestly...
I'm going to torture myself, too.
I
haven't seen them. They were bad. The first one was awful. Let's get into the plot of this movie before we just keep talking about other things we've reviewed.
Talk about digressions.
Exactly. I will say that the beginning of this movie, I do love how it starts. It has that, like, RoboCop fake, like, ad for, like, a dystopian sci-fi companies.
Yes.
Anytime a sci-fi movie has fake advertisements for like dystopian companies, I love that shit.
Yes.
It's like one of my favorite things, like to see like what companies they're advertising and what like little subtle rhetorical messages the writer and director are trying to throw at you with these advertisements, like Minority Report, Blade Runner, Fifth Element. Anytime they have them anywhere, it is a beautiful time. I love it. RoboCop literally the movie RoboCop just stops at times to have advertisements.
Yeah, it does.
So
Buy that for a
like,
dollar.
oh shit, Starship Troopers as well. They have the little recruitment ads.
Oh yes.
Like those are also like brilliant. I love that
Yes.
shit. Where it's like, yeah, it's just I love it. So yeah, we start with one of those, which is for a corporation called InfoSynth. Is that what it's called, right?
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
I already
Which is
forgot the name of it.
Yeah, well, hey, yeah. Which is like this big corporation that is going to show up again and again and again throughout the rest of the movie. They're the evil sci-fi corporation that has given a name and given some context, but not really a whole lot else other than that. Oh yeah, the movie is also taking place in the future of 2037, which we are rapidly approaching.
They might end up being prophetic.
Yeah, it might. It very well might. Yes. There's a very good chance, yeah. And so the world is basically split in two, where we have the attractive, nice people who get a comfortable life. They have access to this basically simulation program where they can experience kind of whatever they want to, whenever they want to. And they can literally like live in the Matrix by jacking in almost like endlessly, it seems.
Yeah.
And we meet our character of Judy, who seems to have a problem with this.
Yeah.
She wants reality.
She wants reality.
She is house before house.
Yes. She wants to feel the realness. She wants to see the real, right? She doesn't want to live with your system, Dad. Yeah. She's definitely got some daddy issues that'll come back up in the movie later. And she's also got some other issues because she's going to offer Mom here in a minute.
Yeah. We get a little Oedipal. Wait.
Yeah.
That's back.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So she... Go ahead, Travis.
Oh, I was going to say this movie also it predicts Roombas.
It does, yes. Yes, there was a little Roomba. There you go.
And it also
which was cute.
Sort of predicted, and this is a dumb tangent, but our current president once called the CEO of Apple Tim Apple, and her dad's name in this is Ted Apple. More prophecy? I don't know.
Yes, Mr. Tim Apple.
Yes, Mr. Tim Apple. Oh Lord. Oh God. I have a reference I'll throw down later, which I may have to edit out. So this one might only be on the Patreon episode because this one I wrote one note that might get us kicked off of YouTube later. So I'll save my political talk for here in a minute. So yeah, all the simulation scenes are kind of cool. Like the opera scene is kind of cool. I like that. Obviously they didn't get super creative with it. Like you can tell the opera scene is very cheap. Like you don't see the crowd, you just hear the ADR of a crowd.
Yeah.
I get it. The movie is working on a $1 million budget, so shit. Tarantino was making Reservoir Dogs around the same time for considerably more than that, and that people say that movie looks cheap. So consider budget cut even further down, and now you're trying to do a sci-fi movie on $1 million budget. That's hard to pull off.
Yeah, really.
So I do like a lot of the practical effects, like the makeup and all the blood effects. Like that's really good.
This should be almost a study in like how to make effects in a movie because they do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we need to bring back more practical effects.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Practical Effects 101. This is like how to make a horror / sci-fi big idea movie on a tremendously small budget.
Yes.
Because $1 million, and that is out the park. That is out the door. So that's like with catering and everything. That is $1 million. And that's a rough estimate. So it could have even been lower than that.
Ooh.
So, and I'm guessing a good chunk of that went to the cast, at least Angus and Bruce, because, I'm sure they got at least a little bit of a paycheck there. Everybody else, like we said, kind of relative newbies. The writing crew would end up being bigger, but this was one of the first things that they really did back in the 90s. So they were just kind of getting their feet wet there. So yeah, Mom and Judy like jacking in, but Judy is tired and she wants to go to reality. And so she she keeps having this conversation at times with, what's it called? Like the system operator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We find out at the end of the movie who that is. And that is one of the many twists the movie does. And perhaps too many twists the movie tries to do, I will say.
No, I give it mad cred for pulling that off in 91.
Yeah.
Hand clap.
I will say there were a few times in this movie that I literally did write down. Did not see that coming. Interesting. Did not see that one coming. Yeah. So Judy wants out of this, and so she is taken off of line, which is kind of interesting.
The way she gets taken offline is because she does, I guess accidentally kills her mother.
She accidentally kills her mom. Yeah, her mom won't wake up because her mom is jacked into the Matrix, and she wants her mom to wake up because she wants to talk to her mom about like her issue with basically her mom just constantly, ignoring her whole situation about not wanting to just live in a simulation, which, as we talked about when we talked about the Matrix, the older I get and the shittier the world gets, the more I am like, you know what? Maybe I do want a simulation at this point.
Well, I was going to say, in the first Matrix, I said I'm one of those people, I kind of want to just know. I want the behind the curtain, look at everything. This movie, I kind of want the simulation. I'm not going to lie. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, if the simulation of the reality, as we find out later on, is what it is, or quote unquote what it is. If that is reality, this is one of the harshest realities of any post-apocalyptic movie we have ever seen. Like, this is a horrible world.
This is a horror movie for sure. Like,
you would not want to live in this environment.
No.
It would not be a fun environment to live in. Unless you're, the seer and in charge of everything. It seems like he's got the run of Shit Mountain, but otherwise, doesn't seem like a fun place to live in.
No.
Once we get there, it makes more sense as to why Bruce Campbell's character Stover proclaims he thought he was the last human alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Yeah, so the movie does look a little cheap at times, especially like I said with the opera scenes and a couple of the other scenes. But it doesn't. I think they hide the budget pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, I thought the use of neon lights as a stand-in for tech was really well done.
Yeah, same. Same. I really liked a lot of that. So she inadvertently kills her mother by trying to wake her up, by basically like turning the crowd against her and then pushing her off the stage in the simulation, which I guess kills her in reality.
The Morpheus said.
Sorry, what were you saying, Travis?
I was going to say Morpheus said the body can't live without the mind. So.
Oh yes.
What were you going to say, Philip?
Oh, I was just reading it as like a electrical overload from her being in the simulation at the same time. It just fried her on the back with the plug-in.
Yeah. Which we do learn that like she is able to enter her mom's simulation, which is apparently not something that she's really supposed to do. Or even be able to. I believe the system operator tells her like you're the first to ever do that kind of a thing. Like,
so they don't even interact with each other. I didn't even consider that actually.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it's so prophetic, because we're all getting isolated into our own, like we used to have echo chambers, and now it's just your chamber.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that is the way it is going.
Take over.
I do think the system operator was really cool looking, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I will say that. I thought it was cool looking little makeup and setup they had for him.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with the whole set design. Like I said, the makeup department deserved a raise. This was really well done.
Yeah. So, then the next thing we know, she gets bagged and gagged by the ICE agents, and they drop her off in, I guess, like a shallow, unmarked grave in the middle of a nameless field somewhere. And there's a bunch of there's a bunch of crucifixes and skeletons, and unfortunately, we do not see Jean-Claude up there.
No. I was thinking that could be his body had his heel not managed to break that post.
Very very good point. Yeah, and we do see people like her though. She notices that like other people have the little jack port in the back of their neck, so we get a little bit of world building where it's like, okay, so she's not the first one to escape, which is interesting.
Is it escape or exile?
Either or, I guess. Yeah. She's not the first, it seems, though, is kind of, what we're learning. But the next part of the movie kind of confused me because she kind of wanders around, and we get to see, like, Bruce Campbell, as we learn here in a minute. We get to see the quote-unquote raiders, the cannibals that we're going to meet. They show up as well. And she's just, like, screaming endlessly to who? Like, she hasn't seen anyone alive to give her any context that anyone's around her is, I don't know. In my mind, it just seemed like, why is she screaming for help when she doesn't even know if anyone's even in near her.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll get to it, I assume, but I was reading that as like the Greek Odyssey, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And the fact that it was her travel, which, you know, is just really just the hero's journey, right? Like she's at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she is like, so my whole big thing with her is I just don't think as an actress she was particularly all that great. Now, once Bruce Campbell shows up, which he does here in a moment, the movie becomes much better.
Oh,
yes. Yeah.
He's kind of the show stealer here.
Easily. Yeah. When I saw the IMDb rating, I was like, oh, no. We're missing at least 1 point.
Yeah. And you see that they have tractors and a rope. So that's cool. You know, they can drive. They've learned that. That's cool. And
yes, I loved seeing that my grandfather's tractor is what survives the apocalypse because it will never die. You just need some oil and a little know-how, and that thing will last forever.
Exactly. Those things will keep on a-trucking.
Yep.
Yeah, so we learned that the Tusken Raiders are called crawlers in this movie. And the fight scene the first fight scene, the fist-to-fist fight scene, is a little underwhelming. But they do get better, I will say, as they get more into the movie, a little bit more graphic. But it was an okay fight scene. You know, it was filmed fine. You know,
Explosion was good.
It just wasn't too exciting of a fight scene, but it's fine. You know, it's very 90s. Very, very 90s.
And for all of these, what they're called, crawlers, for all their flaws, they really did try to give her a hand.
Yeah. Clever.
Yes,
clever girl.
As per usual for post-apocalyptic, they are cannibals.
Yes. So these people are cannibals. Like they'll eat fucking dead bodies buried into the ground. Yeah. Apparently, as we learn from Bruce Campbell, as he tells us, his character in this movie. Oh God, what's his name? I literally just escaped me. Something with an S. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, he basically does a lot of world building as he basically saves her. And he kind of does the typical, like, you know, fish out of water. She has no idea what this world is, so he's going to tell her how everything works, you know. Literally shows her how everything works. Like, here's how to tell if you're going to fall into a pit. Here's, you know, what this means. It just kind of gives her the lay of the land, which in a lot of movies I would really hate. But the way Bruce Campbell does it with his never-ending charisma, I can't help but fucking like it here. Like, as he does all the little world building, it's just like, you know what? This is like the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do in a movie. None of this is visual. You're just saying things. But you're doing it very well, Bruce. Like, you're doing a good job. Like, keep it on. So
I always feel like in post-apocalyptic wastelands, the exposition comes across better because it's being told as a story, right? And so it's the idea that we're going back to our roots of around the campfire, hiding from the evil.
Yes.
Yeah. You do see a lot of it in post-apocalyptic movies. And then some of the ones we've talked about try to kind of subvert that trend by doing the world building in a little bit of different ways. I don't know. I like both of them.
Yeah.
I think that, like, the tried and true way of having the world building, and whenever I teach writing to, you know, sophomores in high school, that's one of the things that, like, we talk about and I have them note is that, like, how many movies have that premise and that framework set up for y'all. Like, and then they'll notice, like, oh yeah, a bunch of movies where there's like a stranger in a strange land. It's like, yeah, exactly. Because then to develop your world, you can explain things to the reader who is connected to the main character, who also doesn't know anything about your world. So you need to give them all this information. And it's an easier way of doing it, right? No.
Or
some of them obviously
and call it the Book of Eli.
Now, I will say some of the kids do get ambitious and they try to do breadcrumb storytelling and world building, a la like something like Dark Souls, where it's like non-linear and told in very fragmented chunks. And that's a very ambitious thing. And obviously this movie doesn't try to do that, and not all movies should. But I do think Bruce Campbell does a really great job. And the Raiders, the whole outfit they have at the beginning of the movie, you don't see enough of it, but they look fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the full coverage. And the fact that they chose to go with chemical rather than nuclear, I thought was a really good choice.
Yeah. That is some nice world building as well, where we get to kind of see that. In addition to the whole, like, everything in the air being kind of fucked and you need constant protection, we do learn about like the two different worlds where we have the in-worlders and the out-worlders. And I could not help but think of Outworld and Mortal Kombat just because I've been playing it on my Switch. I got really sick over spring break.
Yeah.
It's the benefit of being a teacher. You get a week off and you get sick from whatever the hell the kids have. So I spent all spring break basically just sitting on the couch with my Nintendo Switch playing Mortal Kombat. So I now just associate Outworld with that. And then it was interesting to see it in this movie as well and be like, there. Outworlders, there you go. Mortal Kombat. Anyway, yeah, he teaches us like a lot about the whole history of this world and pretty much everything. Like, yeah, it's an interesting little world building we get.
I like one of the things he said where he's like talking about another in-worlder or whatever, and he's like, I buried him. He's like, not even an in-worlder deserves to be, eaten like that or whatever, like how he said it. Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah, like you can tell that he kind of has like a little bit of disgust for in-worlders at first. Yeah, like obviously, like he takes a little bit of issue with the difference between the two. And he also tells us that he had to basically crucify his wife because she died, and he didn't want to bury her because he didn't want her to get eaten.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he brings us right up to her cross and shows us that, and then says, same thing with my dad. Kind of a thing, yeah. So we get some interesting world. Like this is a very bleak world. Of all the post-apocalyptic worlds we've talked about, this is up there with just one of the absolute worst. Like you would not want to even spend a day in here. Twisted Metal, the TV show. This is not. It does not look like a fun time. No. It looks like it's fucking awful.
No, and there's not an unblemished woman in sight.
No. So yeah, his wife is dead, and his dad is also dead, and he can't bury them because the crawlers will literally eat the dead from the ground. Mm-hmm. Which leads us to the love scene, which is the next big thing, and this is when I wrote down as my notes are. And so they start to fuck, and how could you not? The Bruce Campbell is strikingly handsome in this movie, as we talked about earlier, looking like the Han Solo of Han Solos. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm honestly surprised they didn't have an extended love scene. We get a little bit of it, but it gets interrupted. But honestly, the first time I saw this, I was watching it and I was like, is this the first time I've seen a Bruce Campbell love scene? Like, oh yeah. It was like, I'm trying to think in my mind. I was like, have I seen a love scene with him? I can't think of another one off the top of my head. I can't think
of another one either.
It might be a movie that I'm not thinking of. Maybe in his his like little comedy movie he did about himself called My Name is Bruce. Maybe he put a love scene in there for himself. Yeah. I don't know. He doesn't seem like that kind of a guy, so I just don't know. But yeah, we do get a Bruce Campbell love scene here, which immediately gets interrupted by the cannibals. And this is when I
set up the movie.
This is when I wrote down my little note, which is I called the cannibals here, and this is where I have to put a little editing note because I may have to remove this from YouTube. So I wrote down, these are cock-blocking cannibals. That is the future name of Eric. That was the first thought that came to my mind whenever I wrote down cock-blocking cannibals.
Got fired. Got fired.
Oh. Yeah,
she's not listening.
We got to get that Patreon.
She's not listening. Although YouTube might take problem with that. I don't know.
I was gonna say.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what.
We've cut a few things out before that may have gotten us in trouble. Usually when we tell people how to make bombs and a couple other things that we've mentioned, it's like, we should probably say that on TV or on the internet, whatever. Oh God, yeah. So they immediately both get kidnapped, and Bruce gets put basically to work in a death mine, and she gets taken to have a lot of things. Like you think it's going to be like, okay, very stereotypical. She's damsel in distress, and she gets taken away to, get sexually assaulted or be turned into like a baby factory or be killed or whatever. And a lot of those things are teased, but the movie takes some twists and turns, which I did not expect. And that's when I kind of started paying a little bit more attention. So the first half of the movie, I was like, okay, this is all kind of very predictable and plotting. And around here is when I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then it gets kind of back to being plotting again here in a minute. But there are some interesting parts, especially when she kind of has to start rescuing herself a little bit, as she's trying to convince what's her name, the girl that's strapping her in to be Claude. Yes. She starts basically. Yes, Claude with the mouth sores. Yeah, she tells Claude that she's from the company. Excuse me. And so she tries to convince her, like, you can't do this to me. You have to follow my orders and do what I'm saying. And it seems like this gets through to her. And eventually she does get through to her. To Claude's not a good outcome for her.
Oh, God. This is where...
Maybe don't listen to Judy.
Dude, this is where this one gets, like, immediately whenever they get recaptured. I mean, it's already bleak, but then once they get, like, captured... And we just start like Bruce Campbell just cannot get a leg up for the rest of the movie, and it's like
he gets his ass kicked a lot.
Like, and he it's like there are no more winners for the rest of the movie. Like,
basically, after the cockblock and cannibals show up, and then the movie becomes a completely different kind of thing. Yeah, so she gets taken away. He gets sent to go work basically at a death mine where he just keeps getting abused over and over and over again, as he's, I guess, meant to like dig through the rubble of ruined cities looking for whatever they can find.
Yeah,
like he finds a blender.
They're in a landfill. That's what they've dug into, and so their responsibility is to find all of the usable items. That's what the seer wants.
Yeah, which I actually kind of like that. That was an interesting little twist on take on thing like that. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like they're not like digging for like mine or coal or some kind of like natural resource. Like they're literally digging up like useful objects, artifacts from the past. That's kind of unique. That's kind of a cool take. I hadn't thought of that before. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, but
that's
also,
another one of those.
I was thinking it was really good because it fed into the power dynamic for the seer. Because like obviously he's the only person that has the context to know what the object is for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It gave me a little bit of like Beyond Thunderdome with the kids, where they find all the random old objects and they don't really know what they are, but they like infer meaning from them, and sometimes incorrectly so. Yeah, I love when media, movies, books, whatever, has that as a plot point. Yes. I think that shit is really cool.
Yeah, because it really speaks to like our whole understanding of like, for instance, ancient Mesopotamia, right? Like, we're just making wild ass guesses and pretending like
it's it is. I was gonna say, yeah. I love that it's like history repeating itself, where it's like, oh, that's just human nature. To be like, well, so I don't really know, but if I can make a good guess based on like my observed, and you just kind of, as we evolve, we get better at doing that. But like even as like we're still doing it now with ancient ruins, like we don't 100% know. We're making vague guesses based off of context and a little bit of history that we have come to know and observe to be true. But a lot of it is just like, kind of putting two together and trying to make sense of it. And I liked that a movie like Thunderdome does that. And I like that you get a little bit of that here. Would have been cool to see a little bit more, but hey, this is a 90-minute horror movie. We got to speed some shit up.
Oh yeah.
This will be on TV.
Some speed here.
Yeah, this is like Travis, you were saying though, this is like a nasty ass cruel world. Like the entire time he's in the mines and looking for all this stuff, it is gross. Like gross as shit.
Yeah, there were a couple of times I like verbally gagged.
Yeah, it is nasty. It is not a pleasant sight. There's blood and gore everywhere. There's insects and parasites. People are missing limbs and blood spouting everywhere. People are drinking blood, eating random people's limbs. There's like bloated, deformed creatures, a la some kind of like fucked up Dune thing. Just all kinds of crazy shit happening in this little world here. And I really like a lot of it. It's one of those movies that gives you a lot of visual world building. Like that is a way to do visual world building, where you don't tell us things, you just show us like, oh, okay, so that's happening here. Like, oh, what the fuck is happening elsewhere in the world? Like,
like just, the fridge being the security door, right?
Yes,
like, that's brilliant, because it's a whole joke about how kids would get trapped inside and die.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So like stuff like that, like that's the kind of world building I like, where it's just like, this is the thing that's happening. and you can kind of figure it out. And, you know, I love that shit. You don't have to have the narration, but if you're going to have handsome ass Bruce Campbell, hey, make him throw down that heavy-handed narration at the beginning of it. So yeah, eventually Claude listens up after we meet a few more characters. We get another one of our antagonists, Cornelia, played by Elizabeth Kent, shows up, and this is when we kind of start to learn that maybe, just maybe, this is kind of about making babies for the seer.
Yeah.
It is interesting that this is like a little bit of Fury Road, like long before Fury Road.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I see the influence. Yes.
Yeah, which is kind of unique. I don't know if he, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, oh wow, yeah. Whenever I saw that, I was like, oh okay, interesting that they kind of have that same similar idea there, long before it would show up with the Mad Max series. So yeah, so she unfortunately, or well, not unfortunately, fortunately for Judy, perhaps unfortunately for the seer, as we'll find out here in a minute, that this is going to get fucking weird.
Weird might be an understatement.
Yeah. Incestual? I think that's just putting the nose on the head.
Yes. Yeah. Well, when we get to the end, I would love to discuss the research I did. And I think I found the exact mythological story that is the influence for this.
Oh, nice. I'm interested to see this. Yeah. So Claude eventually listens to our girl Judy here and basically frees her, which does not end well for Claude at all. Yep. At fucking all. Like, at all. It's going to go somewhere bad very, very quickly.
Well, she does get some advice.
Now, she does. Because it could just be because, like, I'm super into engineering and everything, like AI engineering. But the whole time, when they said Claude, all I, of course, could think about is the AI Claude. And then I found it rather remarkable that the Claude character ends up being following orders at whatever orders are given and thus self-destructing.
Yes, Claude does basically just follow whatever orders they're told. Yeah, it's kind of one of those funny things where it's like, oh yeah, you've been obviously programmed to just follow orders, but you took that very literally.
Yes. Now, obviously, is it prophetic? Yeah. Maybe. This show does, or movie rather, does seem to hit some things on the head.
Yeah, it does. Like, it is one of those movies that, like, I just chose it because, like, A, it was a Bruce Campbell movie that we hadn't talked about yet. B, is a post-apocalyptic movie. Had never watched it before now, and was remarkable, like, how many different, like, weird little connections it has to other sci-fi movies that would come after it, where I just kept thinking, like, did you watch this movie? Because, like, this is a weird connection.
I'm giving credit to the writers. I'm assuming that they have been circling in Hollywood because they clearly put pieces together that are ahead of their time. They seem to be a good 5 years ahead of everyone else.
Yeah. I was going to say, even back in the early 90s, I mean, I'm not going to just be like, oh, well, they're Harvard graduates. Clearly they're smart. But both men, Harvard graduates. So very clearly, smart people.
Triple fake out, that's like 10, 15 years before any other movie's doing that in Hollywood.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true. So we finally meet the seer, and I will say he looks menacing as fuck with his little weird mask on.
Yes, with the eye embedded into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got some weird cult shit going on, a little blood god worshipping, getting it all in there. And the more we learn about him,
is it a cult? The whole nation believes in it.
Yes. Yeah. So Claude is going to the dream, which we find out what that means here in a minute. And good Lord,
yes, we'll all follow the dream.
Should not have listened to Judy. God damn, Judy is like giving you bad advice. She might be like an omen of doom.
Well, this is where the seer gives Claude advice, to keep an eye out. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing that today, but this movie has unleashed
it brought it out of you.
It did.
It brought it out of you.
Would pick a pocket.
You should have been in the writing room with these Harvard-educated men just to be like, here's what the everyman would have said, and throw that in there.
The only thing this movie was missing was some really, really poignant puns.
Right?
And they were set up so well.
Yes. Oh, God. Yeah. So... as soon as this happens, Bruce shows up and tries to fuck some shit up, and this goes horribly for him.
Yeah. Again.
So between now and then, he had stolen like a blender and had taken the blade off of the blender to use it as a weapon. And so that was kind of going to be his weapon of defense. And
when he cut himself on that thing, like that was so real. Like I was like, oh, I'm scared of cutting myself on those things, man.
Oh, dude, the second I saw him put his hand inside the blender, I was immediately like, oh god, like please don't somehow magically like turn on, because that's like a
Final Destination.
Like that's the shit that scares me. Like anything involving fingernails, I have a thing for that. I've had a fingernail literally pulled off of my skin before, and it was not fun. And so, I have an immediate, and I've cut my hand with a blender before, never with it on before, but like going to clean the blade before, and it like nicks you, and you're like, "Fuck, that hurts," and you're bleeding like everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So I imagine that's kind of what he was going through. But he was able to pop it off without too much blood.
Yeah,
and it doesn't end up going well for him. And the next thing that happens is where this movie gets weird. So
we've said this a few times.
I was going to say, it takes so many turns, and you're just
so the seer and Judy, they have a little moment. This is happening at the same time that Bruce Campbell's character is basically driven off to die.
Yeah,
and we'll get to that in a second. And so she could kind of have a Luke, I'm your father moment, because the seer is her dad that she's been looking for this whole time, apparently.
Now, does she find, I think she finds his card on him or something? Or that little ID card or whatever they have? Is he carrying it with him? Or
I think so, I believe.
Somewhere. And
and
then
he states it outright that he's the dad.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just also states it outright, like Luke, I am your father moment.
Because like they reveal it in a few ways. I think like she takes his hood off.
Double down, triple down, make sure you really know.
Yeah.
Well, they also give you the hint because they show his data port on the back.
Yes,
they do. They do that as well. Yeah, they give you that hint as well that he might be deeper involved in this than. And honestly, like if you listen to his voice and the system overseer's voice at the beginning, it's very clearly the same actor.
Right.
Like they don't try to like modulate the voice too much to make it sound too different. Like they put a little like electronica stuff over the system overseer at the beginning, but you can clearly tell. See, as soon as I heard the seer start talking, I was immediately like, "That's going to be her dad."
Yeah. And does he give the whole monologue about religion before he reveals the dad or after?
I can't remember now. It's either it's around the same time period. But what were you going to say about the reveal of the father and your mythology research?
Oh yes. Okay. So as Travis mentioned, like I was seeing the Oedipus thing, right? I was looking at Greek tragedies. That's how I got to the Odyssey and all that stuff. But then I was remembering the seer and his whole eye obsession, and so I thought of Odin instantly, of course, because he sacrifices his eye for better vision, like foresight, the ability to see the future. And then I stumbled across a mythological tale of Odin and Rin, and she was anyways, Odin loses his son, Balder, right? And so a prophecy is that he'll give birth and avenge his son, right? And so he decides that he's going to make this happen and finds Rin, and he goes through a bunch of steps to try and like seduce her and fails, right? So, Zeus analogies. And eventually what he does is he uses the runes to transform himself into a woman and make Rin sick, at which point he convinces her that she has to be strapped down in order to receive the treatment, which makes me think of when Judy is strapped down and is being tried to be injected with the venom or whatever that is going to
by Cornelia. Yeah.
And so then he rapes her, the purpose being to give birth to his own child that will avenge Balder. And so I don't know if this is exactly, but my research led me through this, and I was like, okay, somebody had to have read this. This is too many connections.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they took a classics class at Harvard and definitely flipped through a few pages of a story very, very similar, if not that exact myth.
Yeah, really.
Or a translation of it of some sort. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it seems like there's obviously some connections there. Yeah, I honestly thought that the whole like reveal the Luke, I am your father thing, I thought that could be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because the exact same time that's happening is when Bruce is basically being tortured and killed. And so like she kind of like immediately fucking forgets about him.
Yeah. Yep.
And that to me was my tip off that this is a simulation.
Oh.
That right there is when I realized, I was like, wait a minute. He's the overseer. this is a simulation. Bruce isn't real. She shouldn't give a shit about Bruce at all. Neither should I, because he doesn't exist.
I called the simulation in the very first, like when she was entering it, right? Like I was like, oh, this is going to be a dream. But the double fake out to where the system operator turned out to be her dad and all that stuff, that I did not see coming.
No.
And so
I
that's
did
what
not
I'm talking
either.
about with the double fake out at the end. I was like, oh, 91 pulling one over on me? That's really impressive.
Yeah, they do the double fake out. Yeah. So I didn't see him being the dad. The second he was the dad, I was like, okay, that's not something I expected. And then when we kept cutting back and forth to Bruce, and she was not like, as a character, not like, no, we need to go like rescue him. Like, I want to go rescue him. I want to like, she like, they just had fallen in love. And then she just immediately was like, oh, well, I got to talk to my dad now that I just met. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. Like, either that's poor writing or there's something up here. And then, so at the end, when it was revealed to be a simulation, I was like, okay. Wasn't like a called it moment, but it was like a moment in time where I was like, I feel like something is weird here. Like, this is not how this story should go. Like, there's something off. And I was happy that they actually like paid off that whole like feeling. And it wasn't just like, oh no, it's just bad writing. Like, it's just bad writing. Bruce is dead and no one gives a shit. Because that's what I thought. I thought he was like, okay, he's dead and no one gave a fuck. What the fuck was he in this movie for? Like,
that's why I was saying, like, you cut 30 minutes into a perfect Outer Limits episode, or you add 15 pages of dialogue to justify 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is where I wrote down Judy, because I was thinking, like, I hadn't realized yet it was maybe a simulation. I was like, I think Judy is like one of the shittiest characters we've ever seen.
Yes.
Like, what the shit is this? She's such a bad character. And then we get the next twist. So, not just Luke, I'm your father. Luke, you want to fuck? Yeah. That's the twist I didn't see coming. No. Didn't see it coming. Did not see it coming. All. I thought it was going to be like, hey, yeah, we're a family and we'll rule. Like, this is a fucked up empire I got, but honey, it's better than nothing. And you should see what else is out there. Like, it's a shithole. So better to rule in hell. Like,
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought that's where the plot was going.
Exactly. That's where I thought we were going. And then he was like, but not only should we rule together, we should bone. And I'm like, what? What? She's your fucking daughter. Why are you trying to fuck her?
Yeah.
Oh, not only does he want to fuck her, he wants to make babies with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, jumping all the way to the end, when he says she passed the test, is the test that you don't sleep with your own father?
Oh, God.
That's what I was wondering. The entire time. At the very end, when we get the next twist, that it's a whole simulation, I was like, what? So, I was like, okay, who controls the simulation? Because either he made it, and he made yourself perf dad, or she made it, and she made perv dad, or an AI made it, and it made perv dad.
Oh.
Who is making the fucking Oedipal dad, or not Oedipal dad, but Greek mythology, Roman mythology, ancient mythology dad that wants to fuck their daughter?
Yeah.
I think that was a weird pull.
The way I read it is, traditionally, when you jack in, you make your own environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, since she demanded reality, that meant that he gave her something to experience, thus outside her own creation. And so
he's making it then, right?
Right. And so then it's a whole test and everything, and then she passes. And so
why not sleeping with your dad?
Right. Which then means that the whole premise is that in order to be the system operator, you must be the only person that isn't corrupted by the infinite powers of God to create reality. Thus, you haven't, fallen into degradation.
Okay. Yeah, I like that reading. Yeah, that actually gives it a lot more context than just, you want to fuck? Because
yeah, that came out of nowhere.
yeah. And then at the end of it, I was just like, why did you make yourself perv dad? Like,
well, here's my other thought about that. Sometimes people will be like, it was Schrodinger's joke where they're like testing the waters with a joke, and they're like, no, I was kidding. I wasn't being serious. It's like, no, that was a test.
Your Schrodinger's joke. Yes.
Yeah. They offer something up, and then if you don't like it, they're like, oh, I was kidding though. And it's like, so So he was just like, "Oh, that was a test."
Yes, that was a yes.
It was such a test. It's like what would happen if she said yes? Like, does the simulation just end there and you're like, you failed, fucker? Or does she just live infinitely as like this weird
fucker
incest baby ruler? Like, like I was like, okay, well, that was I have more questions. Than I just
more reasons to just stay. Well, now this doesn't. I was going to say more reasons to stay in a simulation, but then this is the simulation. So now it's
this is the simulation.
So now, oh god, I don't know where to go. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Bury myself.
Before we find out,
we got to get to base reality, right? Stop looking at the shadows.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to the end of it, we jumped ahead just a little bit there because there is one other twist that happens between there and the end. Which is after dad is like, I want a bone, Judy is like, no thanks, and basically spends the next half of the movie trying to get away from him. This is where I sped the movie up a little bit because I was like, this takes a little bit too much time. I don't need to see Bruce Campbell struggling out of the whole that because she goes and rescues him, and then she immediately gets kidnapped by dad again.
Yeah,
and then Bruce is just left there to die, and I'm like, why didn't anyone just hit him with a rock, like? But anyway, so they take her to the throne room where she's going to get thrown into the machine that Claude went into earlier.
Yeah.
And Bruce Campbell once again shows up and saves the day.
Yeah.
Although she does get her hand.
I was going to say
she kind of also saves herself a little bit.
Her jacket saves her.
Well, her jacket and her hair, having long hair and her jacket, and she does stick her hand on the railing to try to get a grip, which I'm sure did not feel good. Like that looked painful.
Right.
Again,
that was another one of those
feminist film. This is pro female power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is, honestly. Yeah. She saves herself several different times.
Yeah.
And and then at the end there, you think it's kind of over. Like she throws her dad down, the seer down into the pit. He gets destroyed. His blood comes out the other side. His little cannibal friends, they're all having blood baths. Erica Kirk and every one of them just smashing in the blood, all of it. Yeah, she was in there. She was one of them.
Yeah.
And then thank you. And then Bruce Campbell has a twist that this is another thing didn't see coming. And honestly, had the movie ended right here, I might have been like pinned down. That might be one of the greatest movies ever made. Did not see that coming because Bruce Campbell grabs the dad's head. It's full of blood, and he puts the mask on her, and he shoves it in front of Judy's face, and he says, "You have to drink." And she says, "I want to go home." And he says, No, we can't go home. And I just immediately was like, what the shit? Did not see that coming.
Yeah, right?
Like, what? Like, Judy is like gonna... And honestly, I thought that's where the movie was gonna... Boom, credits. Like,
we slipped into Riddick. You keep what you kill.
Yeah, I honestly thought that is where it was going to live, like, just end, like, right there. But...
I, too, thought that would be a thing.
Yeah.
But no, unfortunately not. She decides no, she doesn't want to do that. Which I guess in a simulation makes sense. Like, this is your second attempt. Like, you didn't want to sleep with your dad for ultimate power. What about Bruce? You've already hooked up with him once. Maybe now you all rule together. For the first time, exactly. Yeah. And now y'all can rule together in this little blood throne room that y'all have inherited from your dad. And no, she resists that as well. Which, like I said, did not see that little twist coming. It was classic Bruce Campbell performance there, though. And then he immediately starts basically chasing her around the cave until she finds her way out. And then chases her out of the cave all the way until we get to the end of the movie where we find out this is in fact a simulation as he pukes blood all over her face.
I think that was the parasite leaving him.
Yeah. The parasite was finally catching up with him and killing him down. Yeah. Honestly, like the whole it being a simulation thing was the final twist of the movie. Was the last twist that I was like, I don't know if we needed this, but I like that it was cool that I didn't see it coming again.
Yeah.
But it was also one of those things where I was like, it seems like a lot of twists. Like we're doing a lot of twists, really, really, like just right at the end here, just a lot of them. Because then we finally get the last twist of the movie, which, like as we already talked about. The entire thing has been a simulation, and she is now, well, basically given a promotion.
Yeah.
By Perv Dad. Perv Dad says, "Hey, Judy, you're in charge now. and he walks off into the sunset. And, and then the movie kind of starts to come to an end as well, she kind of takes over, and that's kind of where the movie wraps up with, honestly.
Well, it ends on his like little urn thing or whatever.
Yeah, it ends. It focuses up on his urn. It shows like, okay, he's dead.
Yeah,
she's now in charge of the Infinicent Corporation, I guess.
Yeah,
she gets to control her own reality, which hey, at least she's not gonna be a fascist blood cult leader about it.
Yeah,
but cool. Yeah, the movie was interesting. It was one of those movies that this movie went a lot of different places I was not at all expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was. Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just saying the only one I called was the. It was all going to be a simulation, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, given the genre, that was expected, but everything else caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I was surprised multiple times. Literally gagged. I don't know how many times.
Oh yeah.
I'm permanently desensitized to blood at this point.
Yeah. This movie is a gory movie.
Yeah,
so gory.
I thought House of a Thousand Corpses was gory, but this was gory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very gory. Very, very gory. Yeah. This movie was one of those movies that really took me by surprise. Like I said, I honestly thought it was going to be just kind of like a post-apocalyptic horror movie, very standard run of the mill, like things we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And it really took a lot of different turns that I didn't see coming. Sorry, I was in the middle of coughing there. And parts of it were very predictable. It plays with a lot of traditional sci-fi tropes, and it has a lot of the same post-apocalyptic stuff that we've kind of seen before. But some of the decisions that the writers made were really unique and interesting, and I really didn't see them coming. Like, especially the twist at the end. Now, some of them were not 100% executed with perfection, and there's a couple of things like we talked about that could have been done a little bit better here and there. But overall, like for a early 90s sci-fi movie with a $1 million budget with a cast of like 6 people, with some first-time writers and some first-time actors and a director who's mostly known as a production supervisor, I thought this is about as good as you could really ask for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, personally, I think this film's success, whatever level it had, is probably what got the green light for Event Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
The whole blending of sci-fi with horror, because there's kind of some eldritch stuff going on into it, like the whole concept of the horror is outside of man, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, I mean, pure speculation, but I could see this being part of the green light for that.
I was going to say I hadn't even thought about the connection between those two movies, but as soon as you mentioned it, I was immediately like, oh yeah, I could definitely see Event Horizon.
Oh, absolutely.
Like parts of this being definitely influential in Event Horizon. It's definitely got some of that. Especially towards the end there, when you kind of get to the underground world and we see a lot of like the hellscapes and things like that. It was like, oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even discuss the scene where they gut a man and like jelly beans of guts just fall out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that was intense. Yeah,
that was my big gag moment. I had to pause it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was watching it, it like froze on one specific scene that was very similar to that. I think it was the scene where Claude gets their eyes plucked out.
God.
And I was just like, well, that's a thing to stop on.
Right.
It was so tragic.
Got to sit there and analyze the makeup as the movie was sitting there thinking about buffering. So yeah.
Again, makeup department knocked it out of the park.
Totally.
Yeah, this is a movie that occasionally will show up on Tubi every now and then. Currently, as of the end of March, it's currently not on Tubi, but it literally just was like a few weeks ago before we're recording. So it probably will be again. Sometimes they have like a rotating list of things. So check out Tubi if you see it streaming on there, because it is a really, really good movie if you've never seen it. It's definitely worth a watch, especially if you love Bruce Campbell or if you love ambitious sci-fi movies that are trying to do something a little different, because this movie definitely tries to do things a little different. It is available on Blu-ray. I'm not sure how hard the copy of Blu-ray is to get or to find. I will be honest, I watched this movie amongst the 7 Seas, as we say on this show. So your mileage may vary there, but it is one of those horror movies from the early 90s, late 80s that has become notoriously difficult to find. So if you ever see it randomly on a bookshelf somewhere at a thrift store or something, hey, pick it up. You know, you're not missing anything. You're missing a fun time rather. especially with Bruce Campbell on board. So final thoughts. Phillip, go first.
Ultimately, I would say it is well worth a watch. Once again, I've only done 2 with y'all, but both have been a banger. I am super curious about why we keep seeing crucifixions everywhere.
Do not know why. Did not expect that in this one.
You're right.
Okay, so it is just random luck.
Just random, yes, just random. Just pure randomness. Yes. Travis, last thoughts.
I would say this is a really good watching Bruce Campbell develop into Bruce Campbell movie, because he's not. I mean, you get the thing where like directors apparently love to torture Bruce Campbell. So like Sam Raimi loved torturing him and continues to, apparently, like in the last. Like he just
he's got that Terry Funk energy to him where you can't help but like root for him when he's getting his ass kicked, because you're just like, God damn it, he's charming and charismatic without even opening his mouth. He just looks like, he's a hard guy to hate.
He really is. And
he's a hard man to hate.
But man, he is an easy man to beat up in this movie. My God.
Yes, Stover gets his ass kicked in this movie quite a bit, in fact.
But yeah, no, this movie, big ideas, could have been executed better, but the best execution in the entire movie is their effects budget was well spent. So, got to hand that to them.
Yeah, I really, like I said, was thoroughly impressed with this movie. We don't typically give movies scores on this show. We're not going to start now. But if I had to give this movie a score, I would say like a solid 6, 7 out of 10. It's interesting.
Much more than IMDb.
Yeah, definitely more than IMDb, which is a theme we've kind of stumbled upon on this show, which a lot of movies we see get like 2s and 3s, and then we watch them and we're like, yeah, that movie's a lot better than that. So yeah, especially when it comes to sci-fi and horror movies, because I think a lot of times it's just like, very much your mileage may vary, but as a lover of sci-fi movies, this is kind of like a little hidden gem that had definitely snuck by me, and I'd never even heard of it before we started going down this little rabbit hole tonight. So thank you guys for coming along. Phillip, last tell us what you were going to say. I fucked that up. We'll have to edit that
up. I'd like to mention again, World Parts Direct, guaranteed lowest prices on OEM parts for GM and Mopar. And we have pre-owned parts for any make and model with identical warranties to our new parts. Again, that's worldpartsdirect.com.
Hell yeah. Y'all got hubcaps for a 72 Pinto hatchback?
I'm sure we do. Absolutely.
Ooh, names tears.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you. Next week, we will be back to talk about, what did we decide to talk about?
Bubba
Hotep. Bubba Hotep. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Bubba Hotep, a movie Travis has never seen before, apparently.
Tragically, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. A pre-apocalyptic Bruce Campbell movie where he is an elderly man trapped in a retirement home who believes he is Elvis.
Oof.
And one of his friends is a black man who believes he is JFK. So
awesome.
It's going to be a good time next week. We'll see y'all then. Bye.
Take it easy.
Hot damn, college boy. Thank you for coming and watching the show this week. Every single week, we come back and talk about a post-apocalyptic movie. And it's a good time. Sometimes we talk about extremely obscure movies that virtually no one really else talks about. Sometimes we talk about mainstream stuff that pretty much everyone talks about. So either way, you can come back and get some enjoyment. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you could give us a like, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching elsewhere, then rate the show 4 or 5 stars, whatever you felt. Leave a comment or anything of the sort. It helps with the engagement and all of that fun stuff that people always talk about at the end of these episodes. So thank you sincerely for listening, if you have listened, and thank you. I don't know what else to say. Just a simple thank you. Bye.